Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's presentation as part of the Industry Insight webinar series. The topic this time is Invisible Timekeeping, Timekeeping in the 24/7 Era of Communication. Speaking today will be John Kuntz from Bellefield. As co-founder and principal of Bellefield Systems, John helps top law firms increase their time velocity, improving compliance and accuracy of timekeeping, while taking the pain away from the time entry process. Through his efforts, John has helped position Bellefield as a leader in mobile time entry for law firms of all sizes. Prior to starting Bellefield, John was Chief Interactive Officer of national ad agency Engage. While at Engage, he was responsible for driving digital strategies for decade-long clients Anthem, WellPoint, Abbott Labs, and Kraft. A native of Washington, D.C., he now resides in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He studied mechanical engineering at the University of Pittsburgh and also received a minor in organizational leadership at Robert Morris University. The Industry Insight webinar series is hosted by the ABA Legal Technology Resource Center. To stay updated on upcoming webinars or view previous videos, visit ambar.org/industryinsight. You can also stay updated on legal technology news through our blog, lawtechnologytoday.org. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll now begin the webinar.
Thank you, Rose. I really appreciate that. Again, as Rose said, my name is John Kuntz, and I'm co-founder here at Bellefield. For those not familiar with Bellefield, we founded our firm 7 years ago with one single mission, and that's to create better timekeepers. And frankly, that is a reason, hopefully, you are here today. Better timekeepers lead to more accurate records, reduce time and revenue lost, and increase your client's trust. That's a lot to get out of just being a better timekeeper. But as you know, it's easier said than done. But today we are going to change that. And I'm going to share with you how we've helped over 1,000 law firms of all sizes, from solo practitioners to AmLaw 100, worldwide to remove those roadblocks to revenue and to be stellar timekeepers. Without much ado, let's get this on the road. So our time spent today is based on 4 very simple points. Timekeeping in the 24/7 era of communication and commerce. What the heck is invisible time? How technology available today can help us to recover this invisible time, which we're going to learn about. And embracing change and adapting your practice to new technology trends. And there's been a lot of technology trends in the past couple of decades, as we know. Not that long ago, the channels of communication were limited to phone, and I'm referring to the landlines, you remember those, right? Mail, and I mean the type you put a stamp on, snail mail as it's called today, and yes, the technology adept facsimile, aka fax. I will not mention telegram or telex as I don't want to age myself. And when I say not that long ago, I mean less than 30 years, just about one generation. If you recall, email became popular in the 90s, and some of you I'm sure use these: CompuServe, Prodigy, AOL, Lotus Notes, and Hotmail. This is the genesis of what has caused invisible time. If we take a short leap from then to today and now, email has become old and mainstream, believe it or not. With about 5 billion email accounts today, serving about 7 billion size in population, what that means is almost 3/4 of the planet, the folks on the planet, have an email account. And according to the latest research, we send and receive for business about 120 emails a day. That's 120 just for business alone. Now that's pretty shocking when you think about it. That's 2 emails per minute in an 8-hour workday. But let's be realistic. Although we don't all work all the time, we work at all times. There's really no times that we're not working. According to Inc., email will be obsolete by 2020, and we know that. Because today we text, we use chat, we Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, not just for sharing, but actually e-talking. And the incredible thing is that each one of these has its own specific use. Personally, I'll text a client, I'll tweet with vendors, LinkedIn conversations with colleagues, Snapchat with my kids and family friends, and I'll Facebook with friends. Well, funny, sort of friends. Like 2 days ago on Facebook, I get to spend my time learning that Vanessa, who I've not talked to or seen since college in 1981, she had an amazing meal after ziplining while on vacation. Why is Vanessa's family important to me? It's actually not. I don't even know her anymore, but for some reason I get her information on Facebook because I chose to. And this is so exhausting, it's self-inflicted, and I'm sure I'm not alone. But what is the impact of this in business, and especially in the legal space, which is why we're talking? According to Ring Central, 80% of people using text for business, and I'm one of those as mentioned, and I'm sure you are too. And why? Because it's instant, and the numbers confirm that. Get this, text open rates are 98%, as opposed to only 25% for emails. So it's more instant gratification. And what about attorneys, you might ask? And the following information is from our mobile attorneys infographic. If you email me after, I'll be more than happy to send this. It's chock full of information, and it's john@bellefield.com, but we'll give you that at the end. So given 73% of attorneys telecommute from somewhere other than the office, and 18%, almost 1 in 5, telecommute 2 or more times per week. I think that's pretty high. Therefore, it makes sense that 80% of attorneys own a laptop and almost half own a tablet. What is really impressive, but not surprising again, is that 80% of attorneys are actually using text for work-related tasks, out of which 63% of attorneys use text frequently, and only 18% responded they use it occasionally. Personally, me being on the mature side of the age spectrum, I communicate by text regularly with senior and managing partners in their 60s and 70s, and I do not, nor they, think anything of it. I much prefer that to emails, which I find laborious at best. We all want instant information. What does this tell us, though? The fact is undeniable that society and technology have reshaped the way we communicate and has done so very rapidly. But not only that, this expedited communication is also expected, even demanded from our clients, our vendors, colleagues, business partners, managers, and I'll add family, whom we all communicate with regularly. Have you ever received an email from a client or associate, and before you can get to it, you receive a text saying that they sent you an email? And if you don't respond quickly enough, then all of a sudden your cell phone's ringing. Again, this is becoming exhausting. What's the real impact? Attorneys work around the clock, from when they wake up all the way to when they go to bed at night, and sometimes wake up and send a middle of that night email just to get it off their minds. So what happens to all these small tasks which are becoming the norm, such as the brief call, the email response, a text read, a response sent, which happens time after time after time? This is what we call invisible time. All these little things that we're doing because of the age of technology that we didn't used to do before, and they pile up, and the last thing we're doing is recording the time. Therefore, it becomes invisible. According to the 2016 Time Entry Survey, again, something else I'd be happy to share with you, just send me an email and request it. 95% of firm respondents acknowledged a leak of revenue due to improper timekeeping practices. And if you ask me, that was 95%. If you ask me, the other 5% didn't understand the question. They were probably multitasking by emailing or testing at the same time or taking the survey. This invisible time is made up of small 0.1s, 0.2s, 0.3 time increments that attorneys actually worked, but you never recorded. Why? Because unless you're Rain Man, it's virtually impossible if you don't have the right technology, let alone remembering what you had for breakfast this morning. I very recently had a conversation with a shareholder at a large Chicago firm. She said to me, "John, I know I'm losing time, but it doesn't make sense for me to go to my remote login when I'm not at my desk, because it takes me 10 minutes to bring it up just to record a 0.1 or a couple small time entries. I'm just not going to do it." And then she said, "But I'll try to remember that and I'll log it later." So I'll agree that she will pad some entries to make up for it later, but as we know, it's very hard to remember accurately that invisible time, especially if we leave it to later. On the average, an attorney fails to record from 0.1 all the way to 1 hour of this invisible time daily. And I'm going to posit that it's on the higher side. Here's a conservative example. One attorney that fails to record 0.3, just 18 minutes a day, at a $450 rate, that equates to about $35,000 of leaked revenue a year. And remember, this is time that's already been worked that should be billed. And for law firms of 20 attorneys, that's about $700,000. And I'm going to tell you that's low. The 20 attorney law firms that we do analytic reports on, it's well into the seven figures. And as a partner said before, attorneys will need to make up for it by either working more hours or padding other entries. So the problem here is not just leaking revenue as we saw before, but also the inaccuracies that lead to rejected invoices, write-offs, but above all, it can harm client trust. Remember this, the time card as an invoice is a form of communication with your clients, and as such, it needs to be accurate and of high quality. And it's something that the clients remember vividly because it's a one-on-one thing. The attorneys are working with many, so it's not as colorful as I say. It's more gray. This communication needs to be colorful. I have to give credit to those few attorneys that no matter what, they try to enter their time contemporaneously in any other way or form they can. However, this is far from the norm. In our time entry survey, 93% of the respondents acknowledged that contemporaneous time entry was important to them. Contemporaneous time entry is time recorded at or near the time of service. But why don't we do anything about it? Because it's almost impossible if you don't have the right tools. As discussed before, more than ever, attorneys are working from everywhere at all times. And what is this technology that they carry everywhere? They're mobile devices. And we know now they're being used in a big part in the way they do work. And although pretty much everyone agrees that contemporaneous time entry is a way to keep accurate and reduce leaked revenue, if you don't have the technology that can enable it, attorneys will continue in the vicious cycle of inaccuracy, padding entries, write-downs, rejected invoices, and being subject to more scrutiny. Many of you are already aware of the trending path of large firms increasing associate salaries, which is wonderful. It's a wonderful way to be competitive and to acquire and retain great talent. However, that comes with strings attached. There's a cost, more billable hours. It needs to be paid for somehow, right? And that's not going to happen by doing the status quo. It's just going to create more of an issue. iTimekeep is a mobile and desktop timekeeping solution that works on any device and any browser, including Macs, and the only one that will enable attorneys to be contemporaneous. Attorneys love it, and for that reason has become quickly the most adopted solution with a 5-star review in the App Store. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through 3 real-world examples of what attorneys face every day in a way to handle this invisible time issue by adding technology to it. So I'm going to jump over here, if I may, to iTimekeep Desktop. This is so iTimekeep comes in mobile or desktop, and they work together. So in this first scenario, I'm going to give you 3 quick scenarios. In this first scenario, I'm starting my day from the home, maybe the coffee shop or hotel. My laptop is open, and I'm using iTimekeep to record my time. My iTimekeep Desktop here to record my time. So it's so simple to use. There's a plus sign right here, you see. I'm going to hit the plus sign. I need a matter. I'm going to pick the matter of Smith. Let's see if it's up. It's not up, so let me type in Smith right here. Smith, I'm going to search. There's all my Smith. Smith versus toys with small parts. I'm going to record a 0.3. I just have to hit one button to have a 0.3. And then I need a description. Let's say Smith versus small toys. Discussion with expert witness, Mr. Mattel. Maybe an expert witness, right? And then I'm going to hit submit. The time's entered. We're good. It's in the billing system. I can forget about it. Now I've left the house or wherever I was, and I need to get to court. I have an early court hearing. So let me jump over to my mobile phone. You can see I'm showing you a lot of technologies today. So here's iTimekeep Mobile. This is actually my live iPhone. In iTimekeep, you can find on the bottom left. Let me click iTimekeep to launch it because it's the first time I'm using it today. And I need to add time. So first off, notice right away that the time I entered at home is already showing up on my iPhone. It's showing up on all devices, and it's in the time and billing system. So I'm going to hit the plus sign. There's my discussion with expert witness, plus sign. I need the matter of, I know it's G-E-R-A-L-D, G-E-R-A-L-D. Let me search for that one, and it's searching the entire database that I'm allowed to bill to. Gerald versus the Hero Sandwich Company. So, and I was in court, so I'm going to put the hours, 1.2. If this particular matter needed a task or activity code validated, that would pop up, and you would enter that as well. So I'm in court. I just put in 1.2 hours. Let's come up with a description. In this particular case, I really don't like the type I much prefer to dictate. If you look down next to the space bar, next to the smiley face at the bottom, what you'll see is the little microphone. So let me go ahead and use that instead, because it's much easier and more efficient. Presented motion regarding cricket in Philly cheese hoagie. Period. Done. Submit. There we go. That's done. It's in the time and billing system. I can go on with my day and my life. So now let's go back. I'm now back at the office. Sitting at my desk, I have iTimekeep up, and I want to start a motion to compel. And I want to track my time using the iTimekeep embedded timer. And I'm going to be a little busy for also, so I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So my phone's on Do Not Disturb. I'm going to start my timer. This particular one is it's right there at the top. I was working on it yesterday, so it's showing clearly. And I want to start a timer. So I'm working on my motion, and we have a little feature here called nudge. I'm going to add 20 minutes to this just to make this go faster. And now, remember I put my phone on disturb, but son of a gun, my phone's ringing. The manager partner's assistant just called me. I'm supposed to be in a compensation meeting, and I'm 15 minutes late. So I grab my phone. Let me get back to my phone. Oops. I grab my phone, I say. Where'd it go? There's my phone. I grab my phone, and I'm running down the hall. I get in the office. I sit down, and son of a gun, I just recalled that I didn't turn off the timer. So I pull my phone out of my pocket. It's under the table so nobody sees, and I hit pause. I just paused the timer that I started at my desktop. So now, fast forward an hour later, we finished the meeting. I'm walking down the hall back to my desk, and I want to add this time. It's admin time, right, because it's a comp meeting. So I hit the plus sign. The name of my firm is Simon, and we keep our matters, our admin matters under our firm name. I'm going to click on Simon, and I'm going to put in, since I was a little late, I'll put a 0.9. I wasn't there the whole hour. Compensation meeting. Period. Done. Submit. So there we go. That's in there now as well. So now I'm back at my desk. And I had paused this. When I click this, it's going to go back to the time that I originally put in. And well, let me go ahead and add, that acts like I worked here a little while longer. And motion to compel prep. Period. Save draft. And there it is in the time and billing system. Isn't that, I mean, that is ridiculously easy. The world for an attorney has changed dramatically, but time entry has not caught up until now. You must have a solution that is fluid and works the way you do. It's so simple. You can use this 10, 15, 20 times a day and keep your time contemporaneously. You don't need to write it down, put it in a Word document, give it in Excel, little sheets of paper in your pocket. And I'm going to share a secret with you guys. Every new technology you add that helps you work faster, respond quicker, or is seemingly more efficient will actually create more unbilled invisible time because you're working faster, and the one thing you don't have the methodology to do that has not caught up is the way to enter your time for wherever you are, working like you do. You're still working 30 years ago with these systems that you have now. Now let me go back to my PowerPoint if I may. There we go. Now let me tell you what you didn't see with the way iTimekeep works in this new world solution, or the solution that's finally caught up. All clients and matters are retrieved in real time from your billing system. That's so important. So you don't need to worry about if your matter is there or not. As soon as a matter is created in the system, there's conflicts or whatever methodology you guys use, it's available for you on all your devices. When you submit an entry, it's in your system real time. No matter what time and billing system you're using, it's in there in real time, just as you typed it at your desk. so there's no admin overhead, saving more time for your firm. Security, there's no data stored on the devices, so risk and compliance managers can have a peace of mind. With over 7 million devices lost or stolen a year in the U.S., you need to take the security of your data very seriously. Not only the security of your data, but the security of your client's data. If your assistant helps you to enter time, if he or she puts something in the system, it's immediately available for you to see on the mobile devices and iTimekeep desktop. It's very seamless. But more importantly, you will create more accurate records and recover what? You'll recover that invisible time. And importantly, the ease of use. You just witnessed me dancing between mobile and desktop. It's not easy sitting here doing this for you at one time. So I'm going from one to the other, but it was easy. It's amazing how much lack of training you need to be able to put time in. How hard is it to pick a matter and say something into your phone? So this is exactly what I just showed you, exactly how easy iTimekeep is to use.